All right, welcome. You are at the University of Minnesota Study Abroad session, AKA Study Abroad in Montpelier. This is our second day of our Study Abroad week. My name is Carmen Hernandez, pronouns she, her. I'm one of the advisors here at the Global Learning Office. My advising portfolio includes Australia, New Zealand, Belgium, and France. And of course, it includes our programs in the University of Minnesota. Well, some quick housekeeping rules here. This session is being recorded. You may keep your camera on and off. It's really up to you. If you do have any questions, feel free to use the chat box, or you may wait at the end to ask your question. Without further ado, for this session, we have Paula Hayter. She's our representative of the University of Minnesota. And I'll hand it to Paula.
Thanks so much, Carmen. And I'm going to share my screen really quick. And if you all would just tell me if you can see that, give me a quick thumbs up. Can you see? Wonderful. All right, and I'm unmuted and everything. Wonderful. Okay, hello. Like Carmen said, my name is Paula Hayter, and I am an Associate Institutional Relations Director at the Learning Abroad Center at the University of Minnesota. And we partner with lots of different colleges and universities throughout the United States, including Northwestern, to partner on our programs. We bring University of Minnesota students as well as non-University of Minnesota students to our programs all over the world. But particularly the location I'm going to be talking about today is Montpelier, France. We have two programs that are approved in Northwestern, our main program, which is called the Language and Culture in France program, and the Engineering in France program. This page that you see, if you're watching the recording or if you are here live with us, has a lot of different links on it. If you go to this little, first of all, this is a phantom pointer. It's not pointing to anything, but if you follow my pointer here and go to this shortened link, you should be able to go to a web page where it'll activate all these links. You can send me an email. You can click on my little Bitmoji. You can go to our program pages. You could watch a video about the Montpelier site, see our summer program options. And if you use your phone either now in the video or on this page, if you travel here later and scan this QR code, that's my sign up sheet. So if you want to leave your email and name with me today, so I can just send you links about the programs, then you can do that there. We also have scholarship information and everything. This will be at the end of the presentation as well. I'll just remind you all that it's available. It's kind of just a fun way for me to kind of feel like you have something to come away with, even though I can't hand you a brochure today. So the Language and Culture in Southern France program, located in Montpelier, we'll have a map here if you don't know where that's located, but it's designed for students who are studying French at any level, really, depending on what term you're going to go on. And it has lots of unique opportunities in advanced study. You can directly enroll, and we'll talk about the different levels of the program throughout our session today. So mainly, this is a University of Minnesota program. We have a dedicated program center in sort of central Montpelier that we've been at since the 90s. Longstanding partnerships there because we've been running the program for so long. And the terms that this program is offered in are all throughout the year, but the fall program would be the one that Northwestern students would be looking at. And I also mentioned that we have some other programming that is in this same site, basically part of the same program, but just with a different name, so that as we're going through the course offerings today, you may be able to elect or select elective courses in business or teaching or other areas of study, even though you're going to be part of the main program and not technically the business program. Just so that you're kind of aware that there are many different things happening here, and that benefits our students by expanding our course offerings. So where is Montpelier? Here it is, down at the south of France. The south of France is a notoriously lovely part of the country. It's about 6 miles away from the Mediterranean Sea, so maybe a 20-minute bike ride. Students can rent bikes and go to the sea, go to the beaches. It has 300 plus days of sunshine a year, so it's really lovely. When I visited Montpellier, the staff was constantly apologizing and saying, "We're so sorry, the weather is so terrible," and all it was a bit of rain, and it wasn't sunny, and they were just, so sad that it was one of the worst weather days of the year. So nothing to complain about, especially if you're from a place where it isn't so amazing throughout the year. It's also sort of a college town. It's one of the fastest growing cities in France, and about 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people in Montpellier are students. So it's a very young feeling city, very accessible. You can have an immersive experience. And it really is contrasted with how a program might be or how you might feel living in Paris or doing a program in Paris. It has a different feel, definitely, than a sort of larger city France program. How it is to live in Montpellier, we have a dedicated center, like I said, so students really revolve around that area of the city. We have 3 full-time staff, including our resident director. She's been working with us since the program was started in the 90s, basically. And we also hire a few student assistants who are French students, not studying French, they are French students. And so they interact with our cohort and organize things like bowling nights or conversation groups or group meals at the center. So there's lots going on. Students have an opportunity to join clubs and organizations and really get into life as a student there in Montpellier. This is, the main center of Montpellier. This is kind of shield-shaped area is sort of the commerce center and where you'll be spending a lot of your time. And here is where our program center is located. So just outside of that shield area. So you walk across this park and are able to go to any of the shops and restaurants. Homestays or apartments might be located here in the shield area. So it's a very walkable city. There's also a really advanced tram system that runs throughout out to the university campuses and to other commonly traveled areas in the city. And as I mentioned, we have a center. So there's Wi-Fi, there's computer labs, there are classrooms, we have a kitchen, a meeting space, and you can see that students gather here, they eat here, take some of their classes at our center. And depending on the level of the program that you're doing, you may be taking all your classes here at Le Bureau. I don't speak French, but the bureau, you may be taking all your classes there, or a mixture of classes at a local university and at our center. So I mentioned in the beginning that students of all French levels can do this program. And I'm just going to skim over the beginning track because that's our summer option. If you have 0 level in French, nothing, 101 that you need to be starting at, there are options in the summer for you. But if you're going into the semester program, or what we call the semester program, which would be during your fall quarter, you would have to have an intermediate level of French or above. But just so you know that there are options if you don't have any French at all to begin with. So that intermediate track, you'd be going in the fall, and your courses are taught by native French speakers, either at University of Paul Valéry, which is one of the universities that we've partnered with for years, or at our program center. And the courses that you'd be taking would be designed for language learners. And there also are some English taught electives available, so it can kind of be a mixture in order for you to get what you need. And there are some internship and community engagement options available, although there are more internship options at the more advanced level of French, if you can imagine. And I'll just skim over this. You can pause the video to get a typical sort of semester setup example, but you get your grammar courses, phonetics, some electives, and there are some elective options here that you can kind of customize your semester with. This is a typical intermediate semester. And then there's the advanced track. So what that is basically the same offerings in the intermediate track, except most if not all advanced track students elect to take at least one direct enroll course at one of our partner institutions, which is either University of Paul Valéry or University of Montpellier. So depending on your major, you may choose different areas of those local universities to take your courses taught in French alongside French students who are also completing their degrees at those institutions. There also are a lot more internship or direct research options in a variety of different fields. And so if you go to our website, which I'll show at the end here, you'll be able to see examples of what internships students have done before in the advanced track or in the intermediate track. And again, that typical semester, you can pause the video if you're watching via video, just to get a little bit of an idea about what typically students do in a typical semester. When it comes to direct enrolling in this advanced track, here are just some examples. I just want to give you a picture. University of Paul Valéry is what UPV stands for. This is the humanities university. They have a lot of courses that are in the humanities, the histories, the geographies, philosophy, art. And then University of Montpellier is more the science side of things. So depending on your major, you may choose to direct enroll in one university or the other, or a combination of the two, depending. So you can see this UM has chemistry, political science, psychology, math, kind of thing. And if you are curious about doing an internship, it is a course that is taught. It is for credit. So it's a 3-credit course taught by our program staff. And the hours per week can be adjusted to be greater if you need that. But here are some examples of just all the areas that we've been able to find placements in. This is certainly not an exhaustive list. We have more options that we've done over the years, but just to give you an idea, education, communications, business, social services, working with immigration populations within Montpellier, even things like video editing and art, theater, that kind of thing. Now, I'm going to move over to our other program that is approved at Northwestern, and that's the Engineering in France program. You can see that as like a niche area of the main program in Montpellier. So I'm just going to breeze over this, and I'll just invite you to look at our website if you're more curious. I'm not an engineering person myself, so I can't say that I, personally can speak to engineering courses, but it's designed for students who are studying not just engineering, but some other science related courses. And it takes place at the Polytech University. So the Polytech at University of Montpellier. And it's offered, all year round. And there are engineering courses in a variety of different disciplines. You can see that on our website. And the eligibility, you have to be a sophomore or above in order to do the program. And there are 2 tracks, an English track and a French track. So the French track will have a French prerequisite, if you can imagine, in order for you to be able to understand the courses that you are taking. Oh boy. Yeah, so there are a couple different options. There's the English track, no prerequisite, French track, at least 4 semesters of college level French before you do it. And some of the engineering courses may also have a prerequisite. I kind of already mentioned some of these things, where it takes place. And you also would be able to take advantage of the electives that are offered at our program center at the same time. So doing a combination of the two, not just taking courses in the Polytech. If you so choose, you can take some elective courses with us as well. And just to kind of these pages are going to look very similar, these 2 that I'm going to show you. Here's the English track, just to give you some sample courses. Again, pause the video if you'd like to take a deeper look. But this is the English track offering as opposed to the French track offering. There are just a couple different differences in what's offered in either language. So please make note of that and look more on our website if you're really curious as to, especially if you could do either. Look on our website to make sure that you might be able to get a course that you definitely need in either track. I mentioned that we have program staff that are full-time. They're dedicated to you. They're so friendly. They're really wonderful. And they've been working with our students for years and years. Corinne Dumas is the person who organizes internships and housing, and has been working with the program for years and is really fantastic. So is everyone else. I mean, Françoise Chaton is the main resident director, and she's been working with us for 30 years. She's a Belgian woman who's been living in France for longer than she's been working with us. And then Paul Rogers is one of our staff members, our academic director, but also he does teach some of the courses. And he's an American, but he's also been living in France for, I think, 20 plus years. Just breezing over some of the general things about the program, no matter which program you choose, engineering or the main program. Housing could be host families, apartments, shared apartments, or university dorms. There's kind of a lot of flexibility there. And in the times of COVID, at least over the last couple terms, we've been not functioning in homestays, but now we are starting to get back into host families. And these families we've been working with for a long time. So trusted host families in great parts of the city that students, positively review again and again. So here are just some examples of like what they might look like. We also have excursions as part of the program, like a lot of programs do, 2 or 3 throughout the term. And here are some examples. Aigues-Mortes, which is like a castle sort of area on the coast. I went there when I visited the France program to see it. And I actually just was using salt. It's a salt mining area. So I was just using the sea salt that I got 2 years ago. I really stocked up. I was just using it on my eggs this morning. I was noting, I'm like, wow, it's been a long time since I've been in France, but this stuff is still around, reminding me of that beautiful place. But yeah, they go to a couple different locations, sort of rotating throughout the semesters. And then there also are some optional longer excursions during the longer breaks, like a Fez, Morocco excursion or the Paris excursion as well. And then we're almost done here. So health and safety, there's insurance that's included in the program fee. You have a local French phone number so that we're able to contact you all the time. And on-site staff that is, an emergency number, reachable 24/7 and ready to assist you if anything happens. We also have accommodations that we're able to accommodate if you fill the request form for us. So really it's all about having an open dialogue with us for what you need, your health needs, your safety needs, and being as forthcoming as possible so that we can make sure that you feel safe and are getting what you need during your semester abroad. And the program I'm not sure what it will look like next fall, but at least in recent program terms, things have changed a bit just to accommodate the realities of COVID-19 and the local guidelines when it comes to the pandemic, but things are always changing, and students have really been able to have like a very successful semester, even with the strictest of local guidelines and local requirements and mandates. So students are still having a rewarding experience, even like I said, with the strictest things. And I don't anticipate that going into a year from now, although we have no idea, I guess, what the future will hold. But just so you know, we have been able to adapt the program to still be a huge success and really helpful for students, regardless of kind of COVID-19 realities. And that's all I have. I'm going to go back to my big virtual room, but this is my email here. I'll take any questions. Here is the page that you can screenshot if you'd like to save it or visit this website. But yeah, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Paula. I will stop the recording at this time.